So I decided to go back and rewatch The Ones Who Live finale, and, well...
Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for The Walking Dead universe. After a rewatch of The Walking Dead The Ones Who Live, we're going to go through and do a retrospective of the finale mostly, but the show overall, and give our updated thoughts.
Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today, this one's going to be doing a review for the Walking Dead universe, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing another video. This one's going to be going over and doing a retrospective on the Ones Who Live finale. So, I decided it's been about 3 months now, roughly, since the Ones Who Live ended. I've had enough time to gather my thoughts. I've also seen where the franchise has kind of gone with its, announcements and its, further stuff, of course, a good few months later, and I thought it was a good idea to go back and rewatch the finale. Now, I actually went back and rewatched pretty much most of this season with a buddy of mine yesterday, and we rewatched it, we went through it, of course, and now I'm kind of coming back here and kind of giving you a updated thoughts after a few months. Now, you guys know, The Ones Who Live as a show overall, I really enjoyed. I thought it was really, really good. It was a really enjoyable series, really enjoyable story, and I pretty much enjoyed every bit of it until the last episode. At least that's when I thought, obviously that the show kind of went a little downhill in its conclusion. And I think that's overall what I would say about The Ones Who Live, is that overall the journey is fantastic until you get to the ending of the show. Until you get to the ending of the story. And that's when I feel like things kind of start to fall apart. There were a few kind of, cracks here and there in episode 5, but for the most part, episode 5 still was going in a direction. Episode 6 is when I would say the show just really failed at what they were trying to do. And I think that's really what it comes down to. And I've also seen a lot of fan reception. I've seen a lot of fan kind of responses to the show, and I think that's pretty objective. A lot of people enjoy The Ones Who Live, but they do not enjoy the finale. And I think that's exactly what I would say, even on a rewatch, is that overall, I think the show worked in pretty much every capacity, especially the first 4 episodes. The first 4 episodes are fantastic. Episode 1 feels like an absolute cinema masterpiece. It is a movie-like episode, and it works as that. Episode 2, again, feels very cinema-like, very fantastic. The writing is top-notch, and it is really good. Episode 3, little further down, I'd say, in quality in comparison to episode 1 and 2, but episode 3 was still really good, a lot of good plot lines, a lot of really good things. I think the only thing that episode 3 could have benefited of is showing us more of Major General Beale. I feel like that's when that character could have really started to become a thing, and I also find that Pearl's, kind of switch, Pearl Thorne's kind of switch to an evil side was a little bit on the random side, I'm not gonna lie. But episode 3 was enjoyable. I did like it. I liked Jadis as a threat. I liked Michonne and Rick's back and forth, how Rick wants her to leave and stuff like that. It was really good. Episode 4, what's funny, is actually a very small budget episode, but it works so well in one location because the episode relies on the dialogue, and I think that's why episode 4 works so good. Episode 5, I think, was pretty good. I just think that there was a lot of issues. I think that that episode overall with the Gabriel stuff, especially going back and rewatching those scenes again, it very much doesn't feel like they were doing anything with it. It doesn't. It just felt like he was there as a cameo character because Jadis, of course, was in a very minor relationship with him. They were like, okay, we'll put Gabriel in this episode, when really it doesn't matter. And they tried to do this whole fake out of Jadis killed Gabriel and oh no she didn't and stuff, and I found that stuff to be really frustrating as well. But I think the episode was good. I just think that the problem is with this show is that they tried to do too much with the love story. They tried way too much with the love story shit. And at least that's my opinion. I feel like some people may disagree. In the first 4 episodes of this show, the love story worked. It did. I mean, honestly, especially episode 4. You want to tell me episode 4 is about a love story? Yeah, damn right. And it's a good one, too. It's really good. And the dialogue is powerful. You see how much the CRM has torn Rick apart from his family, and the love of his life has to bring him back to that, and that's what made episode 4 work so well. Episode 5 and 6, I found, is when the love story became overdone. To a point where it's like the whole thing was like, what are you up to, Grimes? It's like, okay, chick, alright, Michonne, love you, Michonne, but what the fuck is the writers doing? And, you know, like, it's like, alright, come on now. You know, and it's like, you don't get noodles for that.
Toothpaste. Booze. What are you up to, Grimes?
Come on, man. Like, I get it. You love each other, but we just had an episode about that. And it was a good one, too. I don't need this shit thrown in my face 24/7. I understand it's a love story, but that's not what I signed up for when I watched The Walking Dead. I don't sign up for a love story. I sign up for a gritty, apocalyptic drama story. And that is exactly what this show is supposed to do. But that's not the direction that they took it in, and I wish they didn't do it. Episode 4 is the episode I think that you could have shown the love story in a Walking Dead manner that worked. Episode 5 is by the time I was like, okay, look, like, can we get back, you know, can we get past this shit? Also, another thing I'll say on a rewatch, I got really frustrated with the amount of times that Jadis would look at Rick and say, well, Rick, when you tried to escape on your own, I didn't care. But you and Michonne together, and they say this all the time, but when Michonne's with you, and you two together, you can do anything.
You couldn't have changed them by yourself, Rick, but together, the whole damn world. I see how we could make it better.
Blech! So what I'm trying to say here is that I think the love story was a little overdone, and I think they went a little bit too far into detail with it than they should have. After episode 4, I don't think we needed all this lovey-dovey shit and this whole love doesn't die nonsense and shit like that. Another thing, I still don't understand the scene where Jadis finds Rick and Michonne. I don't. When she finds them and she says, morning lovebirds, and she's standing over them. For one, she says that she came with a reclamation team.
So I'm back with the reclamation team.
I don't see a reclamation team with Jadis. I never saw that the whole time. Not to mention, Jadis shows up in the middle of the night and sneaks up on the cabin. She wakes them up at the crack of dawn. Does she just wait there the whole night? Where's her reclamation team that she's talking about? And the reason why she doesn't kill them is because, oh my god, I have to tell you why I have to kill you before I kill you. No, bullshit. That shit was plot armor at its best. I mean, honestly. And it was very obvious. Now, not to say that episode 5 didn't have enjoyable things. I also enjoyed the death of Jadis. I thought was good. It wasn't perfect, but I think it was good. And I think that overall, the episode was enjoyable. Now we get to the finale. The finale is, like I said, the biggest franchise killer I've ever seen in my life. Because we have been hyping up the CRM in this franchise since 2017, okay? And they have been hyping up the CRM to be a major antagonist group. And they just get taken out like they're nothing. Conveniently in one spot. All the rogue soldiers are in one meeting with explosives conveniently in a tent behind them. Not guarded by anybody, not, you know, looked after. Rick and Michonne are just able to go in there and explode the whole thing and put this thing on top of them and somehow they don't blow up. Also, Pearl Thorne is like just standing there trying to kill Rick and Michonne and somehow she doesn't die in the blast. Oh, also, Pearl Thorne, I'm sorry, has a mask on that she can put on at any given moment, even though we've never seen her with it at any point at all. And the explosion would have killed them all. I'm sorry, the explosion was humongous. That would have killed every last one of them. Ridiculous. So, and on top of that, Major General Beale, a character that had no screen time at all this season, the commander of this major, you know, villain antagonist that we've been waiting to see for like almost 10 years, is just killed in such a way that makes absolutely no sense. You're telling me Beale has no guards in his room? You're telling me that Beale is just alone, that nobody would retaliate, that Rick is able to go outside, get this container, and then reel it on in and put Beale in this frickin' thing and roll him on out? Like, unbelievable. And nobody catches Rick. Nobody catches Rick whatsoever. And some of the dialogue, man, like, love doesn't die.
Love doesn't
die.
Holy shit, we understand it's a love story. You don't need to shove it in our faces. Like, you know, like, and this whole bullshit of, oh, Rick can't do it by himself, but Michonne, if she's with him, then they can do anything. Like, that is such bullshit if I've ever seen it. I mean, honestly. So, and on top of that, I'll also say this. The finale is good in an area where they end the CRM and Rick goes home and he gets the reunion with Judith and shit like that. But RJ, man, oh my god, this kid. I mean, seriously, like I said, I'm not here to insult the kid. You know, he's a fine little actor, but he's just not the right kid. I mean, he's not the right kid at all. I'm sorry, his performance is lame. It really is. And it sucks you out of the moment completely. And I forgot how cringe it was when he's like, I knew you'd come back. And Rick's just like, how? And he's like, I believed. I'm like, holy frick me, kid. I mean, honestly, like, I'm not saying that you need to be Oscar, like, worthy, but holy shit. Like, Kaylee Fleming is absolutely phenomenal. And then you've got this kid right here that I'm like, how do those two even match? Like, Kaylee Fleming is phenomenal. And then you get this kid right here. And it's like, what the fuck happened? Like, I don't know. But anyway, I rewatched them. You can check out my full reviews for the show in more in-depth detail than this. This is just kind of a revisit of the show. I'd say this. The first 4 episodes, minus a few minor details of episode 3 with Pearl Thorne, I think the first 4 episodes are absolute perfection. I think they're perfect. Episode 5 is solid. I mean, it's got issues, for sure. A lot of things don't matter in retrospect, like Gabriel, for instance, or other things like that. But episode 5 was solid. There was some cringeworthy stuff, but it was solid. Episode 6, I can't even deny it. It actually gets worse with time. It does. And I don't understand what they were trying to do. They absolutely ruined the CRM in that episode to such an unrealistic and unbelievable degree. It was ridiculous. So, here's what I'd say about overall the season. It's a good season. I enjoy The Ones Who Live, but I'll still say this. I do think in retrospect, especially rewatching the show, yeah, there's issues. There are issues. And I think that after the first initial viewing, and that's why I rewatched this to begin with, is that I wanted to get a viewing of what it's like without the hype behind it, without the excitement behind it, and just watch it to watch it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I come out with. So, post comments down below. Rewatch The Ones Who Live if you haven't done that already. And maybe come back and give me your thoughts. I mean, honestly, I would love to hear from y'all. So, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, guys, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos of The Walking Dead universe. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys. And, of course, I'll see you guys very soon for my videos of The Ones Who Live. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and peace out.